Hello and welcome. It is the completion of the second day of September 2019. My name is Derek and this is the Money Charts channel. Welcome. All bets, trades of the like without it's within each's own risk and their own reward. The strategy that I'm talking about, I'm looking back at the past and myself and I gotta think as early as, well, definitely grade 8 for sure. Whether 6 or 7, maybe, but definitely 8, possibly 7. I'm thinking if I would have played this kind of game, I think I could have done relatively well. And of course, we talk about stuff all year. I mean, you almost have to trade with the father's or mother's account kind of deal at that stage. But if something like that were to go on or whatever, I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, I could play well. Now, realistically, I'd say, oh, mom, please buy this or sell that kind of deal, just to be legally correct and everything. And it could be a fun game, especially when you're able to play with small bet sizes. When you consider the fact, and let's put up BNB against the dollar, the minimum size wager or trade is another way of putting it. When you're trading the BNB exchange anyway, is that of zero point 0.1. Therefore, at a coin cost of $22, that means the minimum trade is like a little over $2 right now. Kind of cheap. It's And I think that's outstanding because this allows people of all sizes of bankrolls to play, especially on Binance. Because when you got a monster bankroll, when you take a look at the trading fees, if you're extremely active, and I'm on the base minimum and very far away from level 2, but it lets people play at all levels from the small stakes to the big stakes. It's one of the things that I was really, there's like, I could go over 20, 30, 40 different things probably of why I loathe or what or things I do not like about the traditional market. And one of them is the fees or how you can't play with small amount, especially if you want to diversify. If I wanted to go in the stock market, own like 40, 50 different stocks and go in and out, I kind of have to have a seven-figure level to do that, I think. Extreme six-figure level for sure minimum to play that many, that, I was going to say coins, but we'll say stocks and so on. So that's just one of the many things. So high school, college, all that type of stuff. Well, college, now you got your own account for sure. No, mom have to do this for you. You can do it all yourself now. As I presume you have to be at least 18 to be on Binance. I'm just makes sense. And with that being said, you play the game and doesn't take too much time. But as far as how I'm looking at this game is, every day what you're trying to do is, at least how I'm looking at this, increase your BNB total. Now, I don't own many, and price action and Bitcoin dominance will really help determine how I'm moving from there. I'm going to show the balance of what I own, which isn't much. It's most certainly a three-figure balance. And therefore, in dollar terms, not in Binance coin, that would be pretty high actually. But if you're looking at situations like this is a coin. Let me just bring this on a more longer term now. 3 day. Here's a coin that went, or yeah, coin. I was thinking stock. 21 down to 4. I mean, this thing could easily go to 80, 100, no problem. So the value of your coin could easily have like 4, 5, 6, 10x gains, which makes it interesting along the way because if you're able to overperform the market by double, then the market goes up like 4 times. That's like doing an 8x gain kind of deal, all that type of stuff. And within it, then just it would be fun, and you've just learn about different things about like profit taking, when to cash out, or what when to and how much to cash out. For example, say those moments occur where we end up finding support at whatever one of these levels in here, and maybe we come down to the 22.6. Now they got the Fibonacci in here. I want to take a look here. This is interesting because this is the 23.6 from this high and this low, and this is the 38.2% down move. And after not supporting it right now, it is resisting it so far. And if you don't succeed with the 18, that means to me it looks like 21's a must hold. But anyway, this isn't what I want to talk about. Again, I want to talk about increasing. What you do is you just find something. What do I think is going to go up? So what I want to do for the day is I want to buy something on the Binance exchange, and I got all of these coins. And I only looked at one. I only looked at one, so I know where my position is overnight. And let me just move it onto the spreadsheet. And within it, I have the date. And I did it late in the day on August the 31st, and I had a small losing trade for 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours probably. But 9.4 Binance coin, it's not much. I want that number higher, but I've been talking about Bitcoin dominance, and I want to buy when Bitcoin dominance goes higher, breaks that level of resistance, and then I want to probably make a bigger buy. And it's interesting with BNB. That means it's kind of like, is it worth keeping coins on the exchange here and there? And I think it's overall risk versus reward. I'm still going to be low percentage, even if I up that number to 20-30 kind of deal, which is what I'm thinking. But for now, I'm going to keep it as is. I started September 1st with an ownership of 9.4 BNB. And on that day, I increased it from 9.4 to 9.61, so I increased it about 21 basis points. I should have probably got up to 980, where I am now. I mean, I really misplayed that day really bad. Today it worked a little bit better as I managed to pull off a 26 basis point increase, or that of about close to 3%. And of course, I paid for all the rate today. That includes that taken off. So all the ratio trades that I made, which is only about 4 or 5, 4 probably. No, I don't know, because I did make 2 early and then 2 later, 3 later, 5. But one of them was on Poloniex, so that doesn't count. But yeah, so just creeping this as we go. So where did it go? I'm not gonna. I can't remember the loser that I had, so I wouldn't want to talk about starting at the 9.4 number. And it was the WAN chain. Yes, that first played. And how I misplayed it. Let me just. It was 1st of September. So for this move up here, which worked out well, I didn't buy enough, and I had too much in buy orders, and I wasn't able to sell for as much of the gains as I could have. So it was a great trade, and it worked out very well. I read it well enough. I just mistraded it, unfortunately. So then at the end of the day, what I did was I moved it into the BNB coin, or at least I shorted, I guess you could say, or I bet against Binance coin, or I bet for it to go down. And that was at the end of the day yesterday. So that would have been completion of September 1. So it would have been, and you know what this is? I need to go against, wrong chart. It's this chart here I bet it against. Yep. Okay, so September 1, end of the day. Let's go over here. To me, it looked like it was going to break down overnight. And the mistake I made here is I didn't have buy orders in for these levels. It's just something I should have done. And when I have like say 9.5 BNB, I'm gonna sell 9.3 worth 9.5. I'm gonna keep like 0.1, 0.2 on there just to let cover any type of trades I might have to do along the way. So it's basically taking like 95% plus of my BNB and then selling it against Bitcoin. As the market worked out, I was fortunate enough to be able to exit out of that position or rebuy back the BNB in the morning, pretty much at break-even price. I ended up having a microscopic loss on it when it was all said and done, but I did miss out on. I did see that this thing could go, but we're going to talk about this in a little bit. But we do see the possibility of a failed breakout here. But at the start of the day, I played another W1, and it's the best gainer of the day since 8 o'clock, so I guess that's pretty good, at least of the coins I have on here. I added a couple more yesterday, or 4 or 5, or this morning. But I'm looking at mainly the more high volume ones in here. So Wabi, this is the one I played today. I didn't mention it, but I got into it. So what did it look like this morning well, when I woke up? This is what I was seeing. I pretty much bought at this breakout top in here. In here. I got up early this morning, I think. Did I? No, no, I can't remember what time I got up. But yesterday morning I got up early. But I ended up buying at this top in here. And at the time, what was everything looking like? With this level of support, of course, I was seeing this level of resistance. I thought it was able to have another leg higher. That's what I was looking at. And this is what happened. So, in fact, true enough, it is. Now, let's see if I got it a little too early. The answer is yes, I did. Oh well. I should remove my alerts now. But I got it at like 70 in the 75 area to end the day. But look at the volatility. Like 70, it's already went from 75 to 78. It's just from here to here. So that's what's giving me the profit today. I just played this and that was it. But what I did this time is I ended up buying again like 90 something percent of my portfolio. And I'm thinking, you know what, maybe by 80% and leave like 15% back or 18% back for a buy order lower would have worked out a bit better for me today. But I ended up just, if and the price went lower, I sold a little bit. I sold about 20%, 15% of what I had at small losses to break even. And then the rest of it among the higher area for profit. So, but it was looking to me like it was going to stall out. So what has happened to stop that? I mean, it happened. Was it the 4 minutes something? I don't know what. Anyway, it just I gains a gain for the day, and I ended up putting it back. I'm doing what I did last night for the overnight. Because that's another way of playing it. What do I think? I'm just going to leave it in what? How do I want to play it? But what I got to figure out, they got the OCO type of things. I attempted to try to do it. It didn't work. And I'm not a, it's the whole stop loss thing, but I'm really not a big fan of that. Even for managing a bad situation manually is something I would rather do. But with that being said, it was BTC, BNB, or BNB, BTC, whatever. And to me, this looks bearish to me, at least from my perspective, as far as the overnight is concerned. What a beautiful move it had today, this market. As we come from this low in here, managed to get above the 18 average and get past this level like easy, just a little bit of yada yada stuff in here. And then make it to this high, thus reach this level of resistance, not a lower high. And not only was it not a lower high, but then it had one more leg higher. And not only did it have one more leg higher, but it tested it on several periods, 2 periods in here and then 2 periods again a little later. So I had four in total at this upper area. It attempted it, of course, on a second time to bring it back up, but it wasn't able to do it. So how did the correctionary phase work? It's okay when you have a move from way point low to point high to break the 18 average like happened in here because empty space, it had all of the empty space from this low to this high. So really, to me, the must hold area would have been somewhere around here, which it kind of isn't doing. It held it here, but it broke down at 1500 hours and it matched previous low in here. And now, after supporting this, we're having that level of resistance amongst this area. So, what does this mean on the more longer term time frame with everything going on within this move? Well, let's just keep moving one step further to see if each one supports price action having a dip. And this one here in itself totally does. Because from this last key attempt, and really even this one as well, this one was just a more of a noticeable attempt because all this did was get above the 18 average of highs for really one session, then quickly move back in, and not even to resist the 18 until here. But since this move, you have this good decline. Okay, now most of the time, every single rally you have is going to make a lower high. It managed to come up and hit this previous level of support. But the 18 in here, the 18 of lows is where I need to see support being played. Well, I don't see that. And now, for me to see this as a possible failed breakout, which oftentimes will bring a fast move in the opposite direction, I need to see failure amongst the 18 average of lows. And right now, all it's doing is showing prospect of failing it. For it didn't support it here, and it established and it hit a support level, piercing above previous low. And now it has been resisting this level, and what we're only getting now is just early and unclear, concise exitation of the 18 lows. And I'm clear and concise because I want to see it down a bit more. I want to see it hold and stay below it. And really, I want to see it break below this more shorter term level of support. And then, of course, you might want to wait to break down below this before you have real full conviction. At this point, I'm just wagering the fact that I think, and I'm only wagering about 9 point something BNB, that it's going to happen. But what I've done is I've got buy orders like in at different spots. And then if something like that will happen, I'll just get the BNB. And then when tomorrow wakes up, I'll take a look at the market, see what's available. Most likely, unless this is still a good trade when I wake up, I'll most likely find something to play this and then just do the day to day game within it. Because the volatility allows you to do something like this. So, one way of looking at this is think of this like your own market in a sense. And when you can have it move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10% every single day, or even more, well, for 365 days or a full calendar year, you could really have a huge volatile market. You could bring this number by trading poorly and having bad situations occur, usually bear markets against BNB for everything or a lot of things. Maybe it goes down to 2 or 3. Maybe it goes up to 30, 40, 50, 60, 100. Those are things that can most certainly happen because when we look at stock markets, pretty much all markets, and these markets, they all contain price memory. Yours doesn't. In that, when prices get too high in these things, they at some point will have sell-offs. As there are people, of course, that are going to take their profits and all that type of stuff. And when markets end up getting too low, there's just a time where they just lift off. And I know myself and a lot of other people are waiting for those big lift offs because that's what's been going on. And then they just have fantastic moves. And well, looking if we look at this, for this to have a fantastic move, we've already established this resistance. I've talked about the negative aspect of this. I should talk about the positive. If it can get above this 18 average of highs, then its next resistance test that I'll be looking for to go to would always be previous level, which is of course in here. And on a break of such, whenever you have a good sell-off, and this is whenever you're breaking 61.8, that's more than a good sell-off. And then you can get the 100% retracement back, which is going back to previous level. Then you can start to talk about filling empty space and having big volatility. But again, the price memory obviously is always going to come into play. But when you're looking at yourself, nobody cares, really, but you, what your index is. And when you have these altcoins that go up 75%, maybe in 100 hours or a couple weeks, and then they just have a monstrous 30% decline. Well, that's normal. That's price memory doing its thing. But when you have a big gain on your market, maybe you've overperformed the market with some good trades over a 10, 20-day period, and you're up 70%. Well, it's not like your market has to pull back because you've done so well and it's went up so high. And same thing as it's going down. It's pretty much like playing poker, betting on sports, just looking for plays every single day, kind of deal. And of course, you can take days off along the way here and there. But as I'm seeing this again, this to me looks like it's ready to break down. Let's continue on again within other time frames. We can see again that little failed breakout, just hanging in there, just really looking at the 18 lows. Just doesn't look good. You have this green candle up from these two red down. That's just barely goes below, barely above. And the whole point about it going above here and in a bullish situation again, I really wanted to see the 22 handle hold, and it didn't as support. Again, still can. But what's more likely to me, of course, that it's going to go down. I can see in here that it resisted the 18 average of highs or near that area of such. And it's now exiting this area here, which has had support in this area since August the 31st. Or better yet, not really August 31st. 4, 5, 6, 7. This was like 8 periods ago. So it's a decent amount of time ago. And on the daily term time frame, we've ever since breaking down below this, two decent reds down and a pause. One decent red down and multiple pausing. So there's definitely a lot of reason why. I could see this going down further. When we look at this the triple day term time frame, the question is which Fibonacci do I want to use? I think there's nothing much wrong with using this one because it had a good correction from here. I ought to think there's only two Fibonacci's I'd like to use. One would be from the 20 or the 123 handle, and the next one would be from the well, this 15. But I'm going to do it from here first, and then I'm going to see what this one says after that. So we got a low in here of 123.66. I'm just going to put 1237, and let's put the high in, which would be about 48.16. Sounds fair to me. So I'm probably going to be looking at the 38.2 and the 23 numbers. 61.8 probably would have already played in the 28.65. And grading 28.65, let me do that first because if it worked out spectacular, then I'm most certainly going to keep it going. And a lot of times they do. Okay, it was just luck that it hit support like this. It always is, though. I mean, that's just the way the game is. Okay. Yeah, it's just luck. Sarcasm, yeah. Okay, so you find support here. You have your move up close to previous high, couple hits there. And then now since this decline, price action has pretty much had nothing above the 18 average of highs, and of course it's been sparingly into its short-term tops every time. It did support this level again and congest within it for quite some time, and then after breaking below and establishing really this was a double upgrade of support level because yes 2865, which is a non-moving number like a moving average always is in one, it's one that doesn't change until new levels get taken out, but that means that's where that level is, but it actually technically went to 277, and then that's like bare. I mean, that's like a matching hit almost, but pierced below, and then yet another matching hit pierced below. But it's a couple lower lows. We can see we've had two more since then, but ever since leaving this level of resistance, this is telling me, okay, well, this Fibonacci is doing what it's doing, and it looks like we're heading down to a 61.8% recorrection. And obviously, it's been going down. So where is that 61.8 down? Well, that represents 38.2% up from the low to the high, which is how the math is calculated. So therefore, 38.2% comes in 2079. Well, we're not at that number yet. I mean, I can put this in. If we just have it hit like this again, it's only going to be magic again. So don't. Um, So this will give me an idea where I put buy orders. I might even redo them a little bit now that I'm calculating it. Look for to put a good sample size buying on a pierce below the 2079 handle. But that's just me again. And of course, going down below this low, we've already. I mean, lows and tops are known after the fact. So within these lower lows, we got this one here. Then we had this one. Then we have this one. Right now, this is what the low is. It's already clearly broken down below this level of support. So to me, it looks like all of these time frames tell me that this price is going to pierce below the 2079 mark. Okay, I think that's fair. Let me just, for fun now, take a look at it from this low, and I kind of want to see this. A lot of times when I have lows, what I like to do is determine which is better, a spike low, or whatever name I want to use it as, or one that hits all the time. And I'm going to take the spike low only because of what happened at the end. That would be here. And technically, I would upgrade that number. But then what happened was it turned out that the big support worked out to be the 1824 handle. However, this move here reclaimed this area. So what I would do is I'd probably move it up to this line and figure out that 1483 is the Fibonacci low that I want to work with. And I will now write in that number. These numbers could get relative. This again shows how big the volatility is. When that was the low, and the high in here. And I'm going to be looking for the 76.4 or the 76.4 uh, move and the 61.8. Now here's that situation again. There was this high at 44. The numbers aren't really going to change as too much anyway. It's all going to work out about the same. So as if it really matters either way. And normally, if this flash move was really a flash, I would count 449 as the high. But it did spend a few periods up there, so I'm going to go with this exact high, which is 48,134. So the market went up about 14, 28, 42, 33 or 32 times higher. Okay, let's see what the numbers are. So 76.4 is 211, 73, which is pretty much the area where we're at now. And going deep below that is, and really all this 2079 is appears below that number when it comes down to it. But if this area that we talk about at the 20 doesn't hold, well, this is telling us that the 12739 handle comes in. I don't have the next number after, which I think is the 85.4 or 84.5%. But that, for me to really test the validity of it, then I would, and I'm going to find out that number in a second because I can easily do it. I can do it with a spreadsheet. But we're right at, of course, that 20 little bit number. And it's a long term number, so a move to 20 again is just that little bit of a pierce. So let me just show you the spreadsheet what I'm talking about. So I'm going to start off, I'm just going to put 0.618. And the next two numbers happen to be 03. I think it's 3 after that again, but it's even fine just doing as it is. So if I multiply that number again, I get a little 38.196%, which is normal. So if I multiply this again, this number by 61.8, this is where 23.6 will come in. And this will either be 14.5 or 15.4. I think it's 14. Yeah, 14.5. So what we're going to do now is I want to find out what the 85% is. I really want to subtract that number, 85.4. Oh, excuse me. One, subtract this number. Why? Oh, B4. B4. Get it? Whatever. Okay, so we know, and by the way, you can't even see the number. There's the 4 here, but you can tell it's the fourth row. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the high and the low. So we got 48,134. And then we got a low of 1483. So the differential again, I was saying was around 32, 33. Yep, 32, 33, 32.45. So we divide that number together, okay. Then we take this to the exponent, which is shift 6 on the keyboard. And the exponent is this 85. And then we multiply it by the low. And the low is 1483, which would give us a level at around 29,000. So let's take a look at, let me grade the 29K and just see how it worked out. I'm probably going to say it was just luck. And it's just a coinciding in here. So it's just the same thing as here, piercing below. So yeah, it was just luck. So yeah, it's been playing out relatively well. And these numbers are pretty much working together. So yeah, that'll be it. I made this much, 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 much longer than I wanted to. Holy man, this was planned for like 14, 13 minutes. And I thought we were at like 18 or 19. Oh, wow. I don't think I ever paused the tape for 5 minutes and misclicked it. I don't even think I paused the tape really much at all. Wow, that was a long video. And I know I make them all the time, but wow, that's That's interesting. Okay, thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye bye.